So, good morning, everybody. I hope your weekend was great, and welcome to Monday morning. It looks like we don't have any new people, so we're good on the waivers. Um, do you guys have any requests or questions before we get started? All right. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and find a comfortable position on our mat. Maybe move around a little bit, find a spot where the sits bones can really connect with the earth. And once you feel grounded, then maybe let's pay attention to our spine, long, tall spine. You can pretend like there's a little string attached to the top of your head that's lifting you up to the ceiling. Letting your shoulders fall down away from your ears. Bringing awareness to your breath. And we'll do a little breathing practice here. So we're going to do a 4-count breath. So on the inhale, 2, 3, 4, and then hold that breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold that. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. And you can start to slowly bring this into your normal breathing again. But it's good sometimes in the morning to just find a rhythm for your breath. And on the next breath, let's inhale, reaching those arms up to the sky. Interlace the fingers. Exhale, drop to the right side. And inhale up to center. Exhale left. Inhale center. Exhale, reach forward in front of you. Maybe walking those fingers out. And walking the fingers to the right side a little bit. Let's make it stretch in the left side body. And walking those fingers back to center. And to the left. And back to center. Just a couple more breaths here. Maybe even walking your fingers out a little bit further. And on the inhale, let's walk those hands back up to our tall torso. From here, we'll place our hands on the mat, swing those legs around into a tabletop position. And we'll start to move through our cat-cow sequence. So inhaling cow, dropping the stomach, and arching the back on the exhale for cat. And on the next breath, let's come to neutral spine. Tucking the toes here, we'll lift the hips back and up into our first downward dog today. Maybe dropping one heel and then the other to kind of warm up the back of those legs. Dropping the knees to the mat. Bring the big toes together, the hips or the knees wide on the mat, and drop the hips over the feet. Reaching forward, maybe dropping your forehead to the mat in child's pose. Placing the palms back on the mat, we'll lift up the torso, bring the knees a little closer together. Tuck the toes and lift the hips back up into downward dog. While we're in downward dog, maybe start with your feet, making sure they're really grounded on the mat, feet hip width apart, and move up to your hips. Let your hips point all the way to the sky. Neutral spine in your torso. Spread your fingers wide on the mat. Really make this downward dog position as engaging as you can. If you press with your palms into the mat, it'll help you lift your hips higher into the sky. And on the exhale, Bend those knees, dropping them to the mat. Knees wide on the mat, toes together, and drop the hips into child's pose. And one more time here. Let's place our palms back on the mat, lifting up the hips, tucking the toes, and lifting into downward dog one more time. Once again, maybe pay attention to your feet and your palms, making this position as engaging as you can. Not only a great stretch for the back of the legs, but also a really good strengthening exercise for the shoulders. And on the next inhale, let's lift that right leg to the sky and step it forward into a lunge. We're just going to be here for a second, so you're welcome to have that back knee up or on the mat. And whichever one you chose, you can keep your knee where it is. Inhaling, lifting the torso up into either a high lunge or a crescent position. Probably waking up that left hip flexor. Let's exhale, bring those hands back to the mat. If your knee is up, you can drop that down. And from here, we're going to straighten the front leg, reaching the hips back into a reverse lunge. On the next inhale, let's bend that front knee again back into our low lunge position. And we'll walk that right foot across the left, dropping the knee down for a half pigeon. If you'd like this to be a more energizing practice today, you're welcome to keep those hands on the mat, lifting the chest tall, opening the heart. And if this is a good spot for you and you'd like a little additional stretch, you're welcome to place that right hand in the center of the mat, reaching back with the left hand to grab the left foot in a full pigeon. Or another alternative is to drop that left leg, lowering onto your elbows for a little bit deeper of a stretch in that right glute piriformis. I'll just be here a second, so feel free to pick one position or maybe move between positions. And wherever you're at, let's place both those hands on the mat again, lifting to a tall torso. Here we're going to drop our weight onto the right side of the body, swinging the left leg around and hugging that left knee into your chest. So you have a tall torso, neutral spine here, and bring the knee to your chest, not the chest to the knee. And on the next breath, we'll release that leg, reaching it back to where it was in pigeon. And tucking the toes of that back left leg, stepping back through plank into downward dog. From downward dog, we'll lift that left leg to the sky, reaching it as high as you can, and stepping it forward into a lunge. Choosing to either have that back knee lifted or on the mat. And whichever one you choose will lift the torso, reaching arms to the sky in either high lunge or crescent. Waking up that hip flexor on the right side. And let's exhale those hands back to the mat. If you haven't already, we'll drop that right knee, untuck the toes, and start to straighten the front leg into a reverse lunge. And on the next breath, bend that front knee again, straightening the back leg. And walk the left foot to the right hand into half pigeon. Once again here, you're welcome to have the torso tall with your hands on the mat for a little bit more of an invigorating posture. And if you want that extra stretch, you'll be placing the left hand in the middle of the mat and reaching back with the right to the right foot. Another option here is to lower down onto your elbows, sinking into that stretch and feeling it maybe a little deeper on the left side. And wherever you're at, let's bring both those hands to the mat, lifting up the torso. Drop the left hip onto the mat and swing that right leg around. The tall torso will hug that right leg into her chest. And let's release that leg. Rather than bringing it back to where it was, we'll just drop it down in front of us, bringing the balls of our feet together in a cobbler's pose. And let's hold on to either the ankles or the big toes. And reach tall with your spine. You're welcome to rock back and forth, or to maybe gently press down on your knees for a little bit more of a stretch there. And maybe walking the feet out just a little bit further. On our next exhale, we'll fold over our feet, bringing our torso a little bit closer to the ground here. Nose closer to the feet. And on the inhale, let's walk our hands up to a tall torso. Let's straighten out those legs in front of us. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinging from the hips, fold over, reaching towards your legs. Welcome to have your knees bent here as well. Placing your hands on the shins, we'll do an inhale, seated half lift. And exhale, reaching down towards your toes once more. Inhale the torso back up. Spread the legs wide on the mat. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. And exhale forward, just right in front of you. We'll walk the hands to the right side, maybe reaching all the way over to your right leg or foot. And let's walk those hands all the way to the left side. So take your time getting there. And walking those fingers back to the center in between your legs. And on the inhale, let's walk those hands back up to our tall torso. And let's go to a cross-legged position. If you have like a cushion or a block that you enjoy sitting on, or if you want to go up against a wall, this is a great time to do that. We'll just be sitting for about 2 or 3 minutes. So I'll give you just a second to find your comfortable spot. And once we're here, let's find some stillness, bringing attention to the breath. I try and not do Shavasana in the morning so that we don't all fall asleep again. But sometimes it's still good to have a little bit of stillness in your morning where you're not necessarily thinking about the day's plans and you can just sit with yourself and your breath. And on the next inhale, let's just wiggle the fingers and the toes, bring awareness back into our hands and feet. Maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles in little circles. Inhaling the arms up to the sky. And exhaling them to heart center. Thank you guys for coming on this Monday morning and practicing with me. Namaste.